What's going on, guys? In today's video we're going to discuss my plans for the upcoming week on trading 212. We will be discussing dollar cost averaging on my current holdings and also my plans to add more blue chip companies into some of my sectors that we will discuss in today's video. But before we go on to my trading 212 portfolio, I just want to say thanks very much for all the support as of late. For example, here, video I put up last got 337 views, and again, that might seem like complete peanuts to a lot of people, but in terms of my channel, it certainly is a lot of views, so thanks very much. And we can also see on my dashboard here that we are currently at 428 subscribers, which is also great to see, so thanks very much for all the continued support. And with that being said, let's dive right onto my trading 212 portfolio. Firstly, I want to have the goal of getting to over €5,000 invested in the stock market this week. So we're about €80 or €73 away from that now. So it'd be nice to get this to over €5,000, which will mean we'll be 5% towards my overall goal of having €100,000 invested in the stock market. So that would mean with a conversion rate of about $1.19 per euro, €5,000 would equate to about $5,900, and €100,000 would equate to about 118,500 USD. So as I said, the way I'm going to get this to over €5,000 this week will be two ways. Firstly, I'll be dollar cost averaging each of my pies that have gone into the red, or any of the positions that have gone into the red. For example here, even on McDonald's, if that drops below, let's say 3 to 5%, then I'll start to add more money into that position. And the second way I'm going to get it above 5,000 is by adding in some new holdings into some of my pies that we're going to go through later on in today's video. So as preparation for the week ahead, I've looked into each of my 12 sector pies, and I've kind of distinguished where I need to add further companies in. For example, as I said in prior videos, and what I have as a rule of thumb, that I don't want to have any more than 5 companies per sector. So over the last week, you saw in such of my sector pies as utilities, materials, real estate, and etc., that I've added in further companies to bump this up to 5. This will help improve my overall diversification. But firstly, let's just look through each of my 12 pies to see what positions or what pies that I need to add more companies into. In the communication services, we have 3, Facebook, Walt Disney and AT&T. So we need to add a position or 2 in here over the coming weeks. In consumer discretionary, we have 4 with Tesla, McDonald's, Starbucks and Nike. And again, 1 position will be needed to add it here. Consumer staples, Coke, PepsiCo and P&G. So we need 2 positions. In terms of my energy sector, we have 3. But I've also stated in prior videos that because we have ExxonMobil and Chevron as more kind of old school energy sector stocks, I've also incorporated in my iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, which really is kind of the way forward in terms of renewable energy and kind of having a greener planet. So by having 3 here, although there's only the 3, because I have an ETF also in this sector, that I believe I'm happy just to keep it at 3 right now. In terms of an ETF pie, again, we only have 2 ETFs here, but when you think about it, Vanguard S&P 500 tracks the top 500 US companies, and the FTSE 100 is the top 100 UK, so I'm quite happy just to keep it at 2 in this portfolio. In the financial sector pie, again, we have 5 holdings here, so we won't be adding any further positions. We have Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan, Bank of America and Goldman Sachs. The only way I'll be putting more capital in here next week is if any of these drop into the red to help improve my dollar cost averaging. Healthcare, we have 3, Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie and Pfizer, so we'll be looking to add in 2 further companies here over the coming weeks. In industrials, it's the same with 3 companies, 3M, Caterpillar and Waste Management. So again, I want to add in about 2 companies here as well. And it's kind of worth noting, it's not even just the amount of companies that I have per sector. I want to also kind of even out the terms of capital. So even though healthcare and industrials both have 3 positions, my healthcare is nearly double, or over double should I say, what I have in my industrials. So over the coming weeks and months as well, I want to ensure that I can even these out a bit better. Materials, I've added in 4 companies in here last week in the form of Air Products and Chemicals, Ecolab, Nuclear, BHP Group, and my current holding that I already had was Barrick Gold. I only added in about €10 into each of the new 4 positions in this pie last week, which again is very minimal. So what I'll be hoping to do in the coming weeks here is not to add any further positions as we're at my 5 company cap. But what I'll be doing is waiting to see what the companies do this week, and if they go into the red, I'll certainly be dollar cost averaging. And especially Barrick Gold will be my worst performing stock so far. is currently down 9.65% due to kind of some corruption claims to the company. But that's completely fine because, well, not the corruption part, but in terms of being down 9.65%, because I'll utilize and take advantage of this by pumping more money into the stock to help improve the dollar cost averaging. Real estate, again, I've added 4 companies here this week. Realty Income was the company I had originally, but we've added in American Tower, Stag, Welltower, and Essex Property Trust. So again, we can see here that American Tower is down 2.2%. So if that drops below the 3% threshold, then let's start adding in more positions. My biggest pie as of now is the tech pie. It's currently over €1,000 invested in here. We have 4 positions: Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and Alphabet Class A. So I'll be hoping to add one further company in here. And because a lot of the tech sector companies are kind of overvalued or have pumped up a lot since I invested in them, it will be quite hard to find one company that I feel is undervalued and that I could take advantage of. But again, there's a lot of tech companies to choose from, so I'll definitely have a lot of options. And my utility sector pie, I added in the 5 companies here, as we originally had waste management, but we moved it up to industrial sector pie recently as better fitted. So in terms of utilities, I've added in 5 new companies this week in the form of Consolidated Edison, Next Era Energy, Atmos Energy, Brookfield Infrastructure, and American Waterworks. So again, there'll be no new companies added in here. All I'll be doing is tipping away on my dollar cost averaging. And it's also kind of worth noting that in pies such as utility, real estate, materials, and 1 or 2 others, that I won't be putting a lot of my capital in here. I kind of be hoping to keep it on, let's say, 2 to 4% of my overall capital in these kind of pies. And overall in, let's say, my tech, healthcare, financials, ETF, consumer discretionary, etc., I'll be kind of hoping to have a lot more of my capital in these types of pies, as I believe there's a lot more potential. So earlier on, I made a quick kind of brief Excel of what positions I have per sector. It's kind of easier to see in an Excel format. We can see here that my financials, materials, real estate, and utilities all have 5 companies. So all I'll be doing this week is dollar cost averaging in those sectors. My ETFs that I've mentioned, even though there's only 2, it's over 600 companies in this overall, so I don't need any more positions in my ETF sector pie. Energy, again, with ExxonMobil and Chevron, it's fine in the old school kind of energy stocks, and now because I have the Clean Shares ETF in here also, I'm happy to just have 3 holdings overall. I have 2 sectors that I have 4 companies in, so I'll be adding 1 company into my tech sector and 1 into consumer discretionary. And over here on the right, I have 4 sectors: industrials, healthcare, communication services, and consumer staples, that I need to add 2 further companies into each of these positions. So this will mean that I need to add in 10 further companies overall, which will be spread across 6 different sector pies. So over the coming week or 2, I'm going to be doing my analysis, and maybe each week or even every few days, I might add in, let's say, first of all, we could add in the tech and consumer discretionary pies. So I'll add in a position each into these, and I can make a video on that of what companies I picked and my reasoning behind it. Following up from that, we can do maybe a video on my industrials, one on healthcare, one on consumer services, and the other on consumer staples, which will help to kind of distinguish and break down why and what companies I picked into each of these sectors and the reasoning behind it. And with that all being said, that kind of brings it into today's video. I just wanted to give through my reasoning and my plan for the week ahead in terms of my trading 2-on-2 portfolio. If you found it any way interesting or entertaining, it'd be great if you consider liking the video, and especially if you're new around here, if you would consider subscribing to the channel. It would really help me and the channel out going forward, as it would help encourage me to make more videos, and also it would spread my videos out to more viewers. And finally, the most important thing, if you have any kind of suggestions or queries on terms of my trading 2-on-2 portfolio, or if you have any questions investing related at all, please don't hesitate to ask below, or you could even send an email to my email address at noworneverfinance@gmail.com, and I'd definitely be happy to help you out. So thanks very much, guys. Have a good start to your next week, and I will talk to you in the next video.